Weather permitting, this match will resume in 5 minutes. Umpires Ant Harris and Hassan Adnan. Your scores, Wayne Coleman and Kevin Oak. And your match referee, Alex Swan. Sussex on the field, captained by John Simpson, who also keeps wicket.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you all. Welcome back to Wantage Road, day 3. And what I'd be prepared to suggest will be the final day between Northampton and Sussex in Division 2 of the County Championship. As it stands, Northamptonshire require 147 runs to win their first game of the 2024 campaign. Sussex need 6 wickets, and that would be their 5th win if they were to pick up those 6 wickets before Northampton's got 147 runs. The stream is powered by Daffabet at Wantage Road. My name's Dan Jadzovic. I'm joined by Phil Rowe. We've had a night off. I'm pretty 50-50 on this, Rowe. I don't know how you're feeling.
Yeah, okay.
Apologies. I didn't turn you on this morning.
You'd be surprised how many people would love to dim my volume to 0. It's a long list. Please don't write in and say you'd like to. It'll be we'll be here all day. Yeah, a night to sleep on it. I think it's probably 50-50, and I think both teams might think it's 50-50. You would have to be aware of the number of wickets that have fallen in 2 days. But Northampton start this morning. They need 147. They've got 2 batters at the crease, Britsky and Keogh, 2 frontline batters, one with international pedigree, albeit not in this format. It's all to play for, isn't it? What we also know is that the Sussex bowling attack is very good, and they have bowled very well. We know that they catch very well in the cordon. That's been a point of difference between the 2 teams. So it's all to play for. There'll be a result. I'm hoping it goes our way, obviously, but may the best team win.
Absolutely. Northants need a win in the championship, I think would be fair to say. Opening the bowling from the Lynn Wilson centre end this morning will be the Australian Nathan McAndrew. 12 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 37 so far in this second innings. And it is going to be Matt Bretsky on strike on 11. And that's a bit wafty to start the morning. Matt Bretsky, he's 11 not out, faced 28 balls yesterday, batted for 43 minutes with Rob Keogh, who's currently 6 not out. It was hard work last night. Sussex were fantastic. There was a period of play that Northampton just didn't score. It felt like it went on for about 45 minutes. Just could not get the ball away, and Sussex built that pressure and picked up 2 wickets in the end of the evening session. One of Emilio Gay was LBW to Nathan McAndrew. And then Luke Proctor just guided one, didn't he, off the face of the bat through to John Simpson. Off the bowling of Jack Carson. It's a bit better from Matt Bretsky. Plays it, leans on it through the covers. That's going to first run. Just tick it off. 146 to go.
Keep doing that. 146 more of those. We'll get them in singles, I think is a famous cricket quote from yesteryear. I think Sussex have been very, very good. You know, no surprise. They're top of the table for a reason. They've won 50% of their red ball games this year. They're a side full of confidence. They're a very balanced side. They've got quality throughout with bat and ball, and they're playing well and confidently. This would be one heck of a scalp for Northamptonshire to take.
Certainly would. Nicely played by Rob Keogh. That's going to be 4. The first 4 of the morning. 142 for 4.
I was just thinking about the first ball of the day there. You know, we've now had just 3 balls, but the first ball was a short wide ball. It was a loosener from Nathan McAndrew. You said wafty. You can't argue with that. It was wafty from Matthew Britsky. He didn't really commit to hitting the ball hard through the offside. He kind of wafted it a bit and it went past the outside edge. Is that an omen? Because the way Northampton season has gone in red ball cricket, generally he's been nicking that, or not he because he hasn't played, but generally one of our batters has nicked that. It's looked poor because it's first ball of the day. He's missed that and gets a single, gets up the other end. Maybe it's an omen. We need some more omens.
We do. Hopefully it's a good sign for the home team. Keogh covers up that on the front foot, defends back down the ground. If you'd like to get in contact with us this morning, or for however long this game may go on for, you can do via Twitter at NorthamptonCCC. You can drop us an email, stream at nccc.co.uk if you'd like to share your thoughts, where you see this game is at the moment, where you see this game is going.
Yeah, it'd be good to hear from you because I'm going to be extremely nervous.
It's tense, isn't it?
For the next couple of hours, it is tense.
Keogh on top of the bounce. Drops it into the offside for a single, so adds another one. It's going to be 6 off the first 5 balls of the morning. It was the first day was chaotic, hard to comprehend, I think, a lot of it. The second day, in particular, that evening session was incredibly tense, wasn't it? It felt, with the exception of a bit of chatter from the Sussex slip cordon, it was silent here. Yeah,
it was good. It was good, tough cricket, wasn't it? Both teams desperate to win the game. Sussex to keep their run going and Northampton to get going. Well played.
Nicely played by Matt Bretsky. And Northampton they've been tough to beat, haven't they? They've lost 1 game this summer, drawn 7 of the 8 that they've played. But there's nothing in the win column for Northampton.
Yeah, and I think that's worth comment actually. There's been a lot of criticism of Northampton's red ball cricket this year, and in amongst all that noise and hullabaloo, that point, Dan, that you've just made there, the fact that we've been difficult to beat has been overlooked, significantly overlooked. There's only one team in the country that has lost fewer games than Northamptonshire in both divisions, and they have been tough to beat, and that doesn't happen by chance. There's a lot of good things going on for that stat to be where it is. So clearly, we would like more in the W column, but we've not been easy to knock over.
Ollie Robinson starts as he left off last night from the David Capel end, and immediately Rob Keogh gets off the mark. We saw that last night, didn't we? Ollie Robinson dropped out the man at deep point to give Keogh the opportunity to take the single and get down the other end, because it felt like Robinson bowled exclusively to Rob Keogh last night.
Yeah, it was an India. I mean, personally, I wouldn't do that, but it's great thinking, isn't it, from Robinson? It's like, yeah, okay, I've bowled, and he bowled very, very well at Rob Keogh, and he did have him in some trouble, but he felt, I want the matchup with Bretsky. Let's get him on strike, and it was very clear thinking.
Yeah, that certainly feels like the first ball that Bretsky would have faced against Robinson in this innings of 32 deliveries so far.
I'm not going to say that. I got a message from somebody within the game. I won't tell you who it is because it wouldn't be fair to them. And they said on my message to me, can you please stop saying that the Northampton batters are starting well? because every time you say that, they get out. So I'm going to say this. I don't believe this, but, whoa, they're sketchy. Britsky and Keogh look sketchy. They don't. But I don't want to put the kibosh on them.
It would be worrying if sport was actually dictated by what the people behind the microphone said, wouldn't it? Oh, that's lifted and gone. That's really bounced, and that's a big, big wicket. Robinson loved it, didn't he? The emotion. There's almost a send-off, wasn't it, to Matt Bretsky, as it lifted off the surface here at Wantage Road. Bretsky followed it, tried to withdraw the bat. Unfortunately, left it there for long enough for Robinson to pick up the edge. It's the first wicket of the morning. It's a big one. Bretsky goes for 12. And that 50-50 now, I think, has just swung quite a long way in Sussex's favour.
Yeah, there's some wickets, the swingometer will move a little, and some wickets, the swingometer will move a lot. That's a heavy wicket for Northampton to lose there. There's a saying that a football commentator used to use. He would say the indecision was final rather than the decision was final. And that was indecision from Matthew Britsky. He gets that ball in white ball cricket, he uppercuts it for 6 every time, or tries to. There, it was a short ball, it was a wide ball, it bounced. That's what caused his dismissal. But also, he was indecisive about, do I play, do I leave, do I get on top of it, do I hit it flat, do I get under it and try and lift it over the short to the boundary down there. He was unsure. We'll see on the replay. You can almost sniff the indecision as it bounces, and it's, oh no, oh no, oh no. I felt for a moment he may have got under it. He didn't. The Sussex fielders could obviously hear the nick. It went through, it was caught, and that is a big, big blow to Northamptonshire's chances.
Yeah, it just kind of floated through, didn't it, to John Simpson? Possibly a nod to the fact that Bretsky was trying to take the hands away and ended up decelerating and almost ballooned off the edge to Simpson. I guess that's one of those 9 balls into the morning. If that was 6 overs into the morning and Bretsky was in, potentially the instinct takes over and that uppercut does come out. It goes over the slip cordon for a 1 bounce 4, and we're sat here talking about what a shot that is under pressure. But
Correct.
144 for 5. Lewis McManus is the new man, the wicketkeeper batter for Northants, the vice captain. Sussex need 5 wickets.
Robinson has got this morning already in 3 balls, and last night got extraordinary bounce from that end, more than anyone else has got at any point in the game.
Yeah, Robinson also got Lewis McManus in the first innings, caught behind by John Simpson for 4. Although Lewis McManus 168 not out last week. I know that doesn't account for a lot, does it, today? But he's got to be feeling as confident as he has done with a cricket bat in hand for a long time.
Absolutely. I mean, you know yourself, Dan, sometimes you walk out to bat and it feels particularly alien, doesn't it? It's like, oh, this bat doesn't feel right. Oh, I can't move. Where's the ball coming from? And other times you feel that you're in tune with the game. And Lewis is probably feeling more in tune.
Yeah, leaves that one alone as it swings back towards the gloves of Lewis McManus. It was another one of those Northants wickets that were just caught on the drive, caught behind. Emilio Gay, I spoke to him last night, and he did comment actually on Northants' first innings, and he said that the talk in the dressing room, the mindset was to apply pressure back to Sussex because it felt like there was going to be one round the corner for you. Whether that was the right tactic or not, I don't know. The scorecard would suggest that it wasn't. However, we obviously don't know what that would have looked like if Northants had played a different way around. And it's left alone. It's a very, very good leave by Lewis McManus. Withdraws the bat, last ball of the over. 1 run from it, the big wicket of Bretsky, 144 for 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting perspective from someone within the game, isn't it? I mean, literally, he's playing in this game, doesn't get any closer than that to the action and to what's going on and the mindset and the chat. So Northamptonshire thought to put pressure back onto Sussex because, excuse me, there was one with your name on it. The game hasn't actually played out that way. It has played out like teams have gone too hard at it because they think one's got the name on it, rather than one's got your name on it. I mean, how many wickets have gone where we've thought, well, you couldn't do anything about that? That's extraordinary movement, bounce, swing, whatever. It's kept low, it's bounced high, it's taken his nose off, it's nipped back 3 feet. I think the answer is none.
Very few. McAndrew continues. Keogh leaves it alone. Well, if there was pressure on Rob Keogh this morning when he walked out to bat, having lost Matt Bretsky, hopefully the broad shoulders of Rob Keogh are feeling pretty strong this morning, because he's going to have to bat now and allow Lewis McManus to get in. If you do get in a game like this, I don't know. But Northampton still need 140. And there's not going to be a respite here, is there? One of these two are going to be replaced by Sean Hunt eventually. And he was absolutely dynamite yesterday with the new ball.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely he was. And the Sussex bowling as a unit has been very, very good, hasn't it? The bowling changes called by John Simpson have been very, very good. The catching has been very, very good. Their out cricket, their outfielding has been very, very good. They've done all of the basic things to a very high level consistently through 6 sessions.
Down the leg side, but too straight. It's going to be a leg by, I think, added to the tally. It is. It doesn't matter how they come, but it's one more chalked off the tally for Northants, 139. They feel like a team that, and I've had the privilege now of commentating here for about a year and a half, and I've watched Division 1 teams, I've watched a few Division 2 teams here as well in the Championship, but I haven't got the impression Sussex at any point in this shortened game of first-class cricket that we're going to have here have ever let this game drift. There's never been a 5-minute period when I've looked out the window and gone, oh, I wonder what's going on out there. Sussex have been on it the whole time.
I think that's a really good point. Something that I've said a number of times, Dan, when we've worked together, is I like to look out there and know what the plan is just from looking. And I've been able to do that with Sussex all the time. Yeah, you're dead right. That doesn't surprise me because it's a team led well by John Simpson, but also Paul Farbrace is the head coach. He's a hands dirty kind of coach. He's doing the nicks in the morning. He's in and around the group. He's a hard-working man. He knows the players well. He knows how to get the best out. He knows how to win cricket matches. And he's a very active coach. Not too active. This is all complimentary. He's very active in making sure the team understand how they can go about winning the game and also trying to educate them as well.
Lovely shot by Lewis McManus. Beats the fielder at mid-off. And McManus gets off the mark, stands and watches it run down the ground towards the Lynn Wilson centre ends. 149 for 5.
Let me tell you 2 anecdotes about Paul Farbrace that tell you a lot about this guy. I was coming through the junior coaching ranks, and I was coaching amongst other groups. I was coaching our under-15 team, and we went down to play Kent in a championship game. It was a longer format in those days. Under-15 cricket in England, I don't think they play any red ball cricket now. Just drop that one in. So let that sink in for a moment. But we used to play full-day games, and we were playing Kent. Come back to that.
Oh, it's a beauty of a response from McAndrew.
Beats
McManus.
We'll move on from that. Let's talk about the off drive, the ball before. And Paul Farbrace, I think, was something like the Kent second team coach. And so I clearly knew who he was. He hadn't got a clue who I was. And the game played out. I think we had a good side in those days. And I can't really remember the result. I think we might have won, or it was tied or whatever it was. And I'm just sort of milling around waiting for the guys to come out of the change room, and over he comes, shook my hand. Hello, Paul Farbrace. It's Phil, isn't it? He bothered to find out what my name was. That was nice. And he said, have you got 5 minutes? Chat about the game. And he wanted to know my opinion of some of their players.
Oh, okay.
Firstly.
Oh, it's an appeal for RBW. Rowie says it's out.
Oh, it's not out.
Umpire says it wasn't. Just indicates it was. Well, I think the umpire there indicated that it was too high and it did too much.
Okay.
There was a lifting motion and then a motion to indicate that it went too far.
Okay. I don't think it did too much, but it may have, height is a different issue. Rob's a tall guy. So the first thing was he wanted to know my views. And then he said, do you want some feedback on your lads as I saw it? And he absolutely pulled out 3 or 4 guys. He knew their cricket as well as I did, and I'd worked with them for a year. So that was impressive. But he wanted to share, and he wanted to hear as well. So I was really impressed with that. And then we can fast forward to, I was then running the second team a number of years later here, and we played Yorkshire seconds in a really high-scoring game of cricket. And yeah, Paul was working for Yorkshire. He was running their second team. And again, came along the balcony. Hi, Phil. You got half an hour. Let's have a cup of tea. And we exchanged views on each other's team. And again, he had seen an enormous amount of what I was seeing in my group, but he'd seen it in 2 days, and told me who their lads thought was our best player and why, and where they were trying to bowl some of our guys. He wanted me to know as much as he could tell me about my players, to help me and to help my players. And I thought that was extraordinary.
Generous.
Extraordinarily generous. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the more important point, Dan. It was extraordinarily generous of him to do that, to need to do that. There's enough to do when you're running a second team game. And the other thing was extraordinarily insightful as well. And, there's some very, very good people in cricket, very knowledgeable people. I think you go a long way to get past Paul Farbrace towards the top of that list.
Yeah, he's well backed up as well, isn't he, with Grant Flower and James Kirtley as his two right-hand men. Gone. Is it gone? Oh, that looks like that's moved, isn't it, as it's gone past the bat of Rob Keogh. Maybe the seam just stood up and just helped it shaped away, but Robinson liked it.
It has moved after the bat a lot here, hasn't it, in this game? That didn't look out. Because
movement after the bat just did for me. Did for me. I'd make a terrible umpire.
Oh God, there's two of us. Don't ever play cricket if I'm umpiring. I'm a giver outer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't, Rob Keogh wouldn't be the bloke I'd want to make a mistake for either. No. I think he'd let you know afterwards, wouldn't he?
Yes.
4 slips for Sussex. That one's gone though.
Yeah.
That's lifted, isn't it? And it's got the shoulder of the bat of Rob Keogh, who's batted well for 41 deliveries. That one's just popped off the surface. And it's got the outside edge carried through to 4th slip.
I don't think there's a whole lot you can do about that. I'm going to row backwards on what I said earlier. Earlier on, I said, I don't think it's been a pitch where one has got your name on it. I don't think you could do a lot about that. We talked earlier about last night in the late in the 3rd session and again this morning, Robinson has got steep bounce that we've not seen. We've seen bounce on this pitch and it's been pretty good. But he's got steep bounce where other people have not. And that one just caught the top shoulder corner of Rob Keogh's bat. He was trying to get his hand out of the way, trying to withdraw the bat, but it bounced steeply and quickly, caught the corner of the bat, carried comfortably and was well pouched at 4th slip, I think. It got to 4th slip. There's not a lot I think you can do about that, to be honest with you.
No, it's a delivery and a wicket that I'm sure some of those down at Lords and HQ will look at on replay and go, it's not far away from this England squad. Ollie Robinson, as you said, from last night, it's just been on a roll, hasn't he, from the David Capel end? 149 for 6 now, Northants. Runs required 135, but maybe more likely Sussex require 4 wickets. Those wickets will include the new man of Justin Broad if they are to be successful here, Sussex. Ben Sanderson, Rafi Wetherall and Jack White round out the Northants batting lineup. Broad makes his way into the middle to join McManus. It all sounds quite cliched, doesn't it? But it's a great day to make a name for yourself, isn't there?
Go on. I like that.
Left well alone. Ends the over. Good carry through to Simpson. Sussex sprint between overs. I did wonder whether it got a little bit drizzly out there, Rowie.
I think it did, and then it's moved through. I think there was a little bit of moisture in the air.
Because if I look over the heavy suite, you can kind of see you'll be far better qualified for me. There's a kind of a row of trees, isn't there? Probably 5 miles further beyond us, over the chimneys.
Yeah.
Quite blurry at the moment, aren't they? And I don't think that's my eyesight.
No, they are. Oh, over there.
Yeah.
God, where is that? Ardingstone, probably, something like that.
Possibly not 5
That
miles
won't mean a
away,
lot to Sussex watchers.
No,
Well, it
not
might
at all.
do, but probably not. Nice village, Ardingstone.
Is it?
Yeah, lived there for a while.
Not to be mistaken with Ardingly in Sussex, where there's a reservoir.
Can't see that far.
No, the contact lenses aren't that good. Nathan McAndrew continues. McManus leaves it alone. Well, this is it, isn't it? This is the partnership for Northants. We said it was the partnership between Bretsky and Keogh, obviously Keogh and McManus, but feels like if these two, well, they're going to need the best part of a 90, 80 run partnership here.
Yeah, they are.
And if it doesn't happen,
it's good night, Vienna. Just noticing the trees near Hardingstone Cricket Club, top of Division 4 of the Northampton County League, as you'll be aware.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I follow it well.
Student of the game, top of the league, joint top, but top of the league.
It's a nice shot from McManus. Full face of the bat, wasn't it?
Nicely played. He played nicely down the ground, doesn't he? Sometimes Lewis McManus gets a bit bottom handy and can just shovel into the leg side a bit, but clearly that off drive in the last over from Nathan McAndrew, beautiful off drive, shows that Lewis McManus is in a bit of touch. And the reason I know that, by the way, is because that's where my two boys play for Hardingstone Cricket Club. So I'm not an absolute cricket numpty. It might appear like that sometimes.
I'll test you in a minute and find out who's top of Div 9. It's just held its line, isn't it? That's not really done a huge amount.
No. It was just short of the length that he needs to bowl McAndrew to find that nick. Just on the safe side of a length. Of the nick length, that is. The nick length here has been very similar to the drive length. Only Town second 11.
Yeah.
Their first team are joint top of Division 4.
Oh, good for them.
David Ripley coaches of Only Cricket Club. Well played. Well played, Lewis. Well played. I'm babbling this morning.
You are. So I can tell you're nervous.
That's what it is.
I can tell you're nervous. You're nervous. They're calm. Sussex, overnight, I would imagine, probably would have had conversations along the lines of Northampton haven't won this year. Let's make sure we don't give them one here. Well, do you think Sussex in the field would give a little reminder to Northampton that as well? Bit of low-hanging fruit, I guess, but
that may cross one or two minds. You know, the game will bite you on the bum if you get too cocky, I think. So best to look after your own work generally. I mean, I'd hope not, because it is a bit crass, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
But, you could be forgiven. It's a contest. It's a battle. You could be forgiven, particularly if it gets squeaky, in that, but it hasn't really got that squeaky yet, has it?
Well, 135 to win 2 months ago in the championship, 4 wickets down overnight. You'd have been sat here thinking, well, it's about 80% in favour of the team batting fourth, and could probably knock this down on a flat one.
Yeah,
sun's out, ball's not doing much,
and it would have been 600 for 4 as well, wouldn't it?
It probably would have been, yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, in the context of this game, 135 to win is still a relatively enormous number.
I think, let's make no bones about it. Be really clear. The one bowler in this division that you do not want to be bowling at you in this situation is this guy.
Yeah.
He is the best, closely followed by Ben Sanderson, in my opinion. The stats would actually back that up very well, because we've looked at them from time to time. But this is the guy, and he's one of. There are a number of reasons why Sussex are top of the division. It's not all about Ollie Robinson. They've batted very well. They've posted a lot of runs, and they've got a very balanced team. But a single point of focus, this is a bloke you don't want to be bowling 4th innings when you need a score.
Big oohs and ahs, isn't there? No, you're right. They're the top 2 wicket takers in the division. Sanderson currently sat top. He's played one more game than Ollie Robinson. He's got 29 wickets at an average of 28. Ollie Robinson, 27 wickets at an average of 24.
And it's year in, year out, isn't it? Those two are neck and neck, year in, year out. We know how good Ben is, and they know how good Ollie Robinson is.
Down the leg side. Broad can't catch up with it. It's going to be a dot ball. Yet to get off the mark.
You just want to get a little bit on that, don't you? You really desperately want to get a little bit on that. Fine leg is quite fine, relatively in the modern era. It's quite fine. It's about where he should be, in my opinion. They generally go very, very square nowadays. 4 slips. There was 5 actually. They had 5 briefly.
Well defended by Justin Broad. He's got a first-class best of 75, which is 17.5 in his 12-match career so far. 250s. He's going to need to make that 3, isn't he, today?
I mean, Justin Broad, his best form of defence is to be positive. He's a positive player. He needs to do that. But he hasn't been given any balls really to score off. They've been challenging and difficult to score off. There's one.
There we go. Over pitch from Robinson. Well played by Justin Broad down the ground. Bounces over the boundary rope. So 131 runs to win. That brings up the 150 for Northampton. 153 for 6.
We've seen 2 beautiful straight drives, haven't we? One from each of the 2 guys that are in. So, yeah, I mean, Justin is a positive player. He's a bat-on ball player. He needs to play that way because if he doesn't, he will not succeed. There is a lot to say about selection, though, because he's getting very few balls to hit. So good are the Sussex attack. They give you very little to hit.
Last one of Robinson's over. And that's left alone outside off stump. Dot ball to finish then. So 4 runs from it. As I said, 153 for 6 off now 49 overs.
Dan, it seems a long time ago now. I'm giving Ollie Robinson, and rightly so, a very big rap. And that's I'm not going to apologise for that. It seems a long time ago now that he was hooked off after 3 overs because he couldn't land it.
Yeah. Yeah, that spell was the spell was peculiar, wasn't it? I think would be fair to say. And we mentioned, didn't we, at the time, he could be forgiven to be distracted on that day. He got out first ball trying to, well, I don't really know where he was trying to play that shot, to be completely honest with you. He had a bit of baggage in the fact that England test squad had been announced and he wasn't part of it. Had a bit of baggage that he'd been clarted for 43 by Louis Kimber the week before down at Hove. It's a good bumper from McAndrew, which McManus just ducks underneath and allows to go through. And then to kind of carry that through, he bowled, what, 3 overs for about 30, didn't he? Vasconcelos just took him apart, just did not get the line or the length right. As you said, got hooked out the attack, sharpish, and came back like a different bloke.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? Good bounce back. There's a 3rd man. I think that's the first time in the match there's been a 3rd man. I think that's good cricket too. So there's no one at point. There is a 3rd man. He's quite square, the 3rd man. So he's clearly that's a boundary saving position. And Sussex have got, and understandably so, an eye on the target. It's still only 131. So from Northamptonshire perspective, that looks miles away.
Yeah.
But, you know, no wicket for an hour. That comes down to about 100, and then you never know. So boundaries are gold.
Yes.
Sussex recognise that, and they've got a 3rd man. I think that's good cricket.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely Northants pick up 12 off an over here, but it's just kept a little bit low on McManus. But if that does happen, and they don't have to be the classical cover drives, could do that. You can get a little rundown through 3rd. You could get something a little bit streaky, a bit of luck. All of a sudden, you knock 12 or 15 off that in 6 balls. And that, in terms of a percentage effect on the run chase, makes quite a big dent. Just looks a bit gloomy again out there again, doesn't it? That cloud is a bit lower today. It's a bit grayer. We haven't been off at all for light during those first 2 days, and I wouldn't particularly like to see the umpires go off now because it's been gloomy throughout the entirety of the game.
It's certainly no worse, is it, than it's been at any point. I would like to see them walk off.
I know you would.
And come back when the sun's shining, whenever that is.
September?
September, yeah, possibly.
September 2027. 2 balls left in McAndrew's over. Yeah, it's interesting. We had some pretty heavy drizzle this morning. Drivel, that's us in the commentary box, isn't it? Heavy drivel. Drizzle this morning at about 9 o'clock when the covers were out on the run-ups. Nice shot by McManus. Half stopped by, I think that's Jack Carson in at cover. Just skipped and almost gained pace, didn't it, as it came off the matting, which I assume is probably protecting the pitch for Friday night's T20 against Lancashire.
I would think, yeah.
Well stopped, well timed by McManus. And then we had some blue sky, which was about the only bit of blue sky we've had over the 2 days and half an hour so far. And then we've reverted back to the grey clouds and left alone. So a maiden for Nathan McAndrew. 50 overs complete in the innings. 153 for 6. McManus on 4, Broad on 4.
So drivel. That's what we're talking. I mean, that would be, I'd be disappointed. There'll be, I mean, this is inviting comment, isn't it? Light drivel. If we're going to do drivel,
ours is definitely heavy.
I mean, do you know what? If I'm going to do drivel, let's do heavy drivel rather than light drivel. Let's not do drivel at all. There's going to be a bowling change at the David Capel end. Finn Hudson-Prentice is going to replace the brilliant Ollie Robinson. He's been lightly used in the game so far. In this innings, he's bowled 3 overs, 0 for 19. But he's going to replace Ollie Robinson. It'll be interesting to see if that has any impact on Justin Broad's appetite for risk. Is he going to try and dominate this bowl? And Northampton need to score these runs. They're not going to be given them. They're going to have to apply themselves in a positive way.
We spoke, didn't we, throughout the first 2 days about Justin Broad with the ball having a bit of a magic arm. And I think Finn Hudson-Prentice is a bit better than just that. But in the context of this game, that first innings, 3.1 overs, no maidens, 2 wickets for 3 runs. Got the wicket at Prithvi Shaw that he looked a little bit early on, didn't he? And kind of got caught off a leading edge at cover. And then got his old teammate out, his old club cricket teammate out, Justin Broad as well. Right at the end, wasn't it, when Broad was trying to get a few extra runs on the tally?
Yeah. That's a nice cricket shot. Punched off the back foot. It's fumbled at extra cover by Jack Carson on an old wicket end. It allows the Northampton couple to rotate. Yeah, he's a handy cricketer, isn't he? Finn Hudson-Prentice. He's a good backup to the frontline bowlers. He's been more than that at times in his career, but in this setup, he doesn't get the ball before Hunt or McAndrew, and certainly Robinson. So he's a good foil for those guys. 3 slips, 4 men saving the single in the ring. There's a fine leg and a square. Oh, well, he's backward point really rather than third man.
You needed your tea towel then, didn't you?
Needed my tea towel.
The map with all the
the
positions.
Yeah, well, he's kind of standing in a position that didn't used to be a position, really. But it is, I think it's deep backward point. That's what I'm going to settle on that. And the line so far from Hudson-Prentice has been immaculate. Just wants to get the batter forward. They're able to play that off the back foot into that gap on the offside. That's nice. More of that, please, says every Northampton supporter. How many overs did Robinson bowl this morning?
3. 2 for 5 off 3 overs.
What's that about?
He's bowled a couple of 3 over spells, hasn't he?
One was to save him from further punishment. But I'm not taking the ball out of his hand there, are you? Is he going to swap to this end? Why would he?
I would agree.
It took me by surprise.
Even though he has been omitted from those first 2 tests by England, would he still have workload management?
Is he off the field? I think he's gone off the field.
Yeah, I can't see who's round the corner there. I think that's Sean Hunt, isn't it, down at fine leg? And McAndrew's at mid-on, so...
Yeah, I think, there's no way they're taking him off tactically. that's an absolute given. I mean, that's pretty obvious to anyone. But he's off the field. But normal service has been resumed by Finn Hudson-Prentice, who finishes his first over by pitching the ball up. It hits the seam, goes away from broad. It was that length that he's just going to deviate past the outside edge rather than catch it. What are you pointing out to me? Bowling change.
Double bowling change, yeah.
Double bowling change. Sean Hunt, who was extraordinarily good yesterday, and he had Prifty Shaw's number, I think it would be fair to say. I don't think there was one ball that he bowled at Prifty Shaw. This might sound a bit ridiculous with Prifty Shaw, but I genuinely think there wasn't one ball that Sean Hunt delivered in that spell to Prifty Shaw where Prifty Shaw felt anything other than deeply uncomfortable. And he eventually bowled him through the gate.
So I think that's McAndrew's had a 3-over spell this morning as well. No, 4 overs. 4 overs, 2 maidens, none for 10. Is there a logic here with 129 runs on the board that John Simpson maybe shuffles the pack slightly more frequently so that anybody that does bat for Northampton doesn't ever settle against anybody?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, you want Ollie Robinson bowling every over, don't you? This morning. And he likes getting people out, Ollie Robinson. He's not a reluctant bowler by any means. I think he's a very keen bowler. And why wouldn't he be? So that's interesting. But he's left the field. So something we don't know what has led to him leaving the field. Clearly, even Ollie Robinson can't get you out if he's off the field. This end, in terms of McAndrew 4 overs, bowled nicely. But Hunt was brilliant yesterday. So that's more understandable tactically. I'd have perhaps given him one more, McAndrew. But Hunt deserves a go. But this is no disrespect to any of the other Sussex bowlers because they're all very good. We say that first and foremost. But it feels different when you know Robinson's not bowling from one end. It feels different to me. And I suspect it probably feels different to McManus and Broad as well. Robinson picked up the 2 wickets to fall this morning, really with extra bounce, both of them. He's not there. Hunt is, and he's bowled very, very well. And he is accounted for Lewis McManus caught behind. Another good bowling change by John Simpson. Another good bit of bowling by Sean Hunt, running it across Lewis McManus. He has the ability, Hunt, to swing the ball back into the right-hander. This one continues, goes across McManus. It's a thin edge, carries nicely. The captain catches it. And that could be the end of Northant's hopes in this game. It's only 129, but that feels like a long way away.
It does, particularly with Sanderson, Weatherall, White, who wasn't here yesterday. I haven't seen him, but I'd assume he would be around today to come. And McManus he's just followed it, isn't he? He's just poked at it as it's gone past. He hasn't played the line, which he had done well in that short innings up to that stage. It was 23 balls. That one there, and I guess maybe the change of angle then brought about the indecision.
Yeah.
And as the ball's gone past the bat, he's just followed it enough to get the outside edge through to Simpson, who that cordon, which you'd include the wicketkeeper in, has just caught so well.
Yeah, they have caught well.
One went down, I think.
Yeah, there was a full length dive, wasn't it, by the captain himself, and he had to go. It was a good decision to go. It wouldn't have carried to first slip. He went one-handed. It just didn't stick. It would have been a worldie. I was just thinking about that over and about Sean Hunt overall. He bowled some beautiful, beautiful deliveries. That wasn't one of his best, but you get enough balls in the right area, you're causing problems. That was a regulation left armour across the right hand. It didn't do heaps. But again, it's about getting enough balls in that business area. It's a percentage game. Got a message in from former Northants head coach David Ripley. I mentioned earlier that he's doing some coaching with Oney Town Cricket Club. He's encouraging me to say that is free of charge in case the taxman is listening. Well done, Rips.
Donations are available.
He does it. He's just a cricket man, isn't he?
Takes his cap off at the end of the evening.
I gave Paul Farbrace a big rap earlier, and there's a guy who deserves a rap as well, because David Ripley is our equivalent, I would say. Universally respected, apart from me. Can't stand him. Loved. He's loved, Rips. You don't like Rips, you love him. He's a great guy, great cricket man. Taught me a lot about the game.
Similar to what you said about Paul Farber, he's just generous with his time.
Exactly. Oh, that's a lovely cricket shot. How about that? What a shot that is. That ball did swing. I think it was an attempted Yorker from Sean Hunt, the left arm bowler. It swung in gently to Ben Sanderson, who said, well, you know, Ricky Ponting plays that shot. Why can't I play it? And yeah, there was a moment there where I think Ben Sanderson thought about holding the pose and then thought better of it. He held his bat for half a second. It was nearly the the 3 second hole, but he's a Yorkie, so it was like, no, stick to the J, just stay in your lane. What a shot that was, though.
Proper shot.
More of that, please. That's well bowled, nicely defended, Ben Sanderson.
I mean,
go on, say it.
Is it time for Sanderson just to have a dip here?
I think no.
No, just dig in.
Yeah. If it was 224 to win, it's 124 to win. It's 125 to win. I think no. I think pick up as many as you can. If you do get width, throw your hands at it.
Mm-hmm.
But to use my caveat to that, don't get cleaned up middle stump trying to hit it to miles. But if you get a ball you can score off, as he did there, then score off it.
Yeah.
He's got to look after Justin Broad a bit in terms of play for him. He's the batter. He's opened the batting in this team before.
Yeah, opened the batting down at Hove, didn't he, against Sussex at the start of the season?
He did. But I think I would forgive Justin Broad to playing positively, and if he makes a slight error doing that, and then that's instantly forgiven, I think. But don't fall over. This is a contest. These games have been won and will be won. In the county season, these improbable victories will happen somewhere at some point. Why not you? Got to believe that and play accordingly. Do not dial this one in. There's Richie Barker, the analyst here for many years. You say, no, they've dialed that one in. Don't dial it in. I never really knew what he meant by that, but it sounded good.
Yeah, they're words that form a sentence that could be deemed relatable to what's going on.
Richie had a way with words.
Dial it in.
He was. I haven't seen him around lately. I hope he's okay. If you are listening, Richie Barker, send you all my best. He was our first analyst back in the day. It was all very different in those days. What wasn't different is that this is a mountain to climb. It was when I was around, and it is again. Sando is an interesting one, Sando. He does some things with the bat that are very, very good. It's just a matter of doing that consistently over a period of time. But he has ability. One of the things that I suspect he's still working on is getting his pad out of the way of straight balls. There was a period of time when we thought about gluing the bat onto his front leg. We didn't genuinely think that. But he has a potential just to trigger his left foot across, and he can't get the bat back on line. Keeps his left foot out of the way, head towards the ball. Any width, he scores very well off any width through the offside. His job at the minute is to keep Justin Broad company for another 20, 30 runs. Get that number down under 100. A catcher or two will disappear at that point. The game becomes a little easier, but no less stressful. Hudson Prentice is very capable. Oh, that's beautifully played, Justin Broad, through mid-wicket. There is a man positioned out on the deep square boundary. Another nice throw. I am going to keep talking about throwing.
Yeah, well, why not? Why not be consistent?
Well, I just think that, there has been...
You'd make a great Labrador, wouldn't you?
There has been.
Because I think you'd really appreciate an owner that threw a tennis ball well for you.
Come on. Not chasing that throw. That one I'm going after. That's not your ball. I don't care. Labradors can't speak. Sander had a bit of a drive at that one. Didn't really get his body weight forward, so it skewed off a thick inside edge, but no damage done. There's been a few times in this game where bowlers have dropped something from their attire as they've delivered the ball, and that was one of those times. Ben Hudson Prentice carries a towel tucked into the back of his. What was it? Was it a towel? Or was it?
I think it was a towel,
It
yeah.
must have been a towel, and it fell out just as he delivered the ball. Otherwise, Ben Sanderson's striking that for 4, I'm sure. I'm sure that's what he's thinking. So the equation is Northants need a further 122 runs to win. Doesn't sound like a lot, does it? The problem is they've only got 3 wickets remaining. Justin Broad is going to face Sean Hunt. Sean Hunt is saying, no, I'm not going to have a deep square leg. I like that. That's positive. He's saying, no, I'm not going to bowl a ball that gets hit through there. I want to keep this guy on strike. I don't want you to rotate and let me bowl at Sanderson. I'm going to get Broad out. So the fielder comes in to save the single. And guess what? That fielder saves a single.
Sean Hunt just feels like he's been able to take a wicket with every single ball he's delivered in this second innings. He's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I really like that bit of cricket there. There was a fielder on the deep square boundary thinking, well, we'll give Broad one off the hip and bowl at Sanderson. And Hunt said, no, I'm not giving a run away. Brought the fielder in. The ball goes straight to that fielder, so he's lining Broad up. That's very positive. And he's done it again. Okay, you've made your point now, Sean.
As you said, with that angle back into Justin Broad, which Sean Hunt has bowled so consistently throughout this innings, if Ollie Carter was out on that deep square leg boundary, as you said, it's such an easy single, even for Sanderson.
Yeah.
Just turn it in there.
Yeah.
Play with the shape. He has got the ability to run it across the batter, but I guess if you're trying to play it leg side, you're more likely to miss it.
Yeah, that's bounced. It caught Justin Broad on the glove on the right hand. He wishes he had withdrawn the right glove from the bat handle. He didn't quite do that quickly enough, and it did crash into his bottom hand. But it didn't go north; it went south, went to the ground, and ran down to fine leg. So they take the single. They've got to take every run right now. Sanderson at number 9 can't be protected, wouldn't want to be. Standing very open, Ben Sanderson, recognising, as I said earlier, that he is an LBW candidate. Certainly to the left arm over bowler, he's lining him up well, so his feet are pointing really towards mid-on. If you drew a line from his back toe through his front toe, and you may say, well, that's a bit too open, but he's trying to account for swing. What he's got to make sure is that if it is up, that he gets forward, gets his head forward. But I like that setup from Sanday. He does get forward, hits it nicely to mid-off. Mid-off moves to his left well. The fielder at extra cover, Jack Carson, really deterred the single. What he did, he sprinted across, set off very quickly as if to say, I can cut that ball off. He couldn't, but there was doubt. Good bit of cricket. It's very easy for extra cover to say, well, I'm not going to stop that, let it go. He lets that ball go, they get a single. It was the run that deterred, and he thought of a single. Good cricket, keeps Sanderson on strike.
Yeah, there's so many mini games going on inside the game of cricket, isn't there? And that was a good example of it from Jack Carson. Had a couple of emails in this morning, Rowie. One from George, who plays at Oney Town Cricket Club. It's not Olney, it's Oney.
I know.
So he's just said he's really appreciating the mentions of the cricket club on the stream this morning. Alex Stockton, who I think is probably supporting Sussex, just said, is it worth pointing out that Luke Proctor has scored runs in almost all of Northampton's first-class cricket this season? Sussex's success against him in this game could well prove decisive, given he's usually the man to dig in and score gritty runs. His contributions here have been missed.
That's a very good point.
If Luke Proctor was at the crease at the moment, it would be a different equation, wouldn't it?
It would.
There's a chance if Luke Proctor was at the crease at the moment, they'd have a few more wickets to play with as well.
That is a very good shot, one-handed by Justin Broad off the back foot. And again, another good bit of out cricket by Ollie Carter that time, diving full length. He's at backward point and intercepted the ball on the short cover boundary, almost level with the bowler's stumps. Broad didn't absolutely time it, took his bottom hand off almost to decelerate the bat, but he got 2.
Did you see the flick back from Ollie Carter then as well?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't be coincidental, but it was perfectly weighted.
Yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful shot through the leg side by Justin Broad. Unfortunately, hits it so well that it goes straight to Jack Carson at deep square leg. I've been told off, as you know, I said earlier, I've been told off for complimenting the Northants batters. There you go. Can't do this job right, can you? But heck, I have no influence on what happens next. Justin Broad's playing nicely.
No, the last thing anybody wants is to be wrongly accused of bias on a commentary live stream, isn't it? But it's a lovely shot by Justin Broad.
And a lovely shot by Ben Sanderson in the same area, but times it better. What a cricket shot that is, Ben Sanderson. Ben Sanderson's played 2 shots into the leg side. I said earlier he scores well through the offside. Well, recalculate, Phil. Things have changed in the last 5 years. That was a beautiful shot. It was over pitch. It needed to be hit, but it was hit beautifully, firmly, comfortably, stylishly before through mid-wicket. 114 needed to win. Sanderson 9, Broad 11. The partnership is 15. These two can take it. It's 170 for 7. If these two can take it to 200 for 7. If another straight delivery from Prentice, just lost his line. Hudson Prentice a little bit, gone a little too straight. Sanderson works that into the leg side. It's a fine line, this. I mean, literally, it's a fine line because Sussex will know that Ben Sanderson shins it, to use the phrase, and therefore they'll also know that he scores well through the offside. He's been around a long time. So they're going to bowl very straight at him. But there is a big, big difference between off stump straight and middle stump straight. Ben Sanderson has dealt with middle stump straight very, very well so far. He's on to 10. 113 to win. Yeah, Finn Hudson Prentice disgusted with himself there. He's turned away, doesn't even want to see where that ball's gone. He's dirty with himself, as the Australians would say. And he's almost back to the end of his mark already, saying, I'm better than that. And I want to get back and bowl another ball because I've just lost my wrist this over. I've bowled 2 straight. Ollie Robinson is back on the field. He's at mid-off. He's shining the ball and he's saying to Finn Hudson Prentice, I would think it'd be encouragement, but encouraging him to bowl probably in the channel. The one thing here is Sanderson's hit a lot of balls. He might be encouraged to hit more balls. And again, it's 2 straight. And again, it's gone into the leg side. And Ben Sanderson is very, very quick across the ground. Good running. The crowd enjoyed that. Really pushed hard for 2 there. There's been few 2s in the outfield. So good has the Sussex outfielding been. Ben Sanderson split those 2 fielders well, ran the first one well and came back.
It's the first time in 53 minutes this morning that I think we've heard anything from the crowd as well that have made their way into Wantage Road. There was a few gentle applause or claps, weren't there, in applause for the 2. It was a good over for Northampton. I mean, Finn Hudson Prentice, that first innings picked up 2 wickets for pretty much nothing. This second one, 6 overs, no maidens, none for 35, going at just under 6s. Hasn't been able to continue the control, has he, that McAndrew and Robinson were able to instill. And
it was a poor over. You know, you have to. It was a. He knows that. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that. It's a poor over. It's better than that. Generally, much better than that. The issue for Ben Sanderson here is that he has had so many balls that he can score off that he might get on a roll.
Yeah,
you know, that's number 9 for a reason. He's there for a reason at number 9. And one of those reasons will be doesn't make as good a decisions as a bloke who bats number 6. That's no offence to the bloke who bats number 6. But there are other reasons why Ben Sanderson is not a number 6, but one of them will be decision making. So he's got to get his heart rate down and still make good judgments. But if they continue to bowl very straight at him, he will score. Oh, that's well bowled again by Sean Hunt. Justin Broad looking to work the ball into the leg side. Got a leading edge. It went to ground before it reached the slips. It was nicely stopped by third slip. Another day that skids and beats third slip and Northampton pick up 4.
Such a good shot was that flick through mid-wicket for Ben Sanderson. We've just had a replay of that as well, haven't we?
Why not? I like that. Do we get 4 more for that? That'd be great, wouldn't it? Keep replaying that. that's in the slot, really. And Justin Broad was a little slow, I think, to latch onto that. It was a very full half volley. Justin Broad will be thinking, okay, I've got 2. Really, I should have hit that for 4. But he'll be happy that he hit it for 2 rather than nicked it. He's just rehearsing the shot there. He was a little slow to jump onto that. And that's understandable. This partnership, Dan, is worth 21. The total required from here, from Northants, is a further 108. 284 in total required. Broad just coming down the wicket, a little step down the wicket.
Yeah, it'll be a psychological milestone, won't it, if Northants can pick up the next 9 runs without losing a wicket and get it down to 99 runs to win. Do you see 1 less number on the scoreboard makes a huge difference? Sussex, I mean, they're going to know that their life's going to consistently get easier each time they pick up a wicket.
That's well left by Justin Broad. It was an effort ball, wasn't it? Went across. It was kind of like an away swinger. It would have swung into a left-hander. It swung away from the right-hander. Sean Hunt just saying, look, I can swing it. We know I can swing it back in. I can actually go the other way as well. Justin Broad having nothing to do with that good judgment. I suspect, I don't know, I would imagine Ollie Robinson will bowl the next over from the David Capel end. I would be surprised if he doesn't. Only bowled 3 overs, then left the field. He is now back on, so let's see what happens. At the end of that Sean Hunt over, that wasn't his best. Or is it going to be Nathan McAndrew? Nathan McAndrew's having a chat with, yes, it is going to be Nathan McAndrew. So it's Ollie Robinson pulled something.
Don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? We had an email coming from Joe Maskell this morning as well, just to say, firstly, excellent stream service that you're providing. Worked really well with the game. So thank you for your kind words, Joe, and for getting involved. He's kind of said that he's disappointed with Ollie Robinson so far this week. Feels like he just hasn't had the energy that he has had recently. And then goes on to say, just as he types this, was at 7 minutes past 11, that he picked up first wicket of the morning as well, which normally happens, doesn't it, when you start commenting on somebody's form. But maybe if these 3 over spells are the maximum that he's got up his sleeve at the moment, maybe that's maybe there is a nod to the fact that he doesn't have the energy or the output that he's been used to. He's taken 6 wickets.
Joe's a hard marker. But I like hard markers. I mean, yeah, certainly the first 3 overs of his in this game weren't very good. Since then, he's been very good, I think. He's been very good. This guy, McAndrew, has been very good. Right on the money, dragging Sanderson across the crease. Whether Ben Sanderson needed to play at that one or not, I'm not too sure. He did play at it, and thankfully for him and for Northants' hopes in this game, thin though they still are, there is still some hope. He missed it. Yeah, I mean, Ollie Robinson started terribly. There's no 2 ways about that. He did. But then since then, he's been very good, hasn't he? Well, that's my take on it. Okay. McAndrew in. Sanderson shuffles across his crease, jabs down on it to the onside.
He has also asked me who I'm supporting in this fixture as well, which I'm reluctant to think about an answer, to be completely honest with you, Rowie. Joe is, of course, hoping for another Sussex win at the end.
Yeah.
Keep mailing in from Haywards Heath.
I think it's difficult with someone with a character like Ollie Robinson to know what's going on. And I don't mean this in any nasty or complex way. I mean, literally, he's not a guy. Get down. Oof. It did get down. Ben Sanderson played a drive, and the ball went off the inner half of the bat towards mid-on, straight in line with me. It didn't carry to mid-on. It bounced just before him, hit him on the wrist, I think, ran away for 2. Not entirely sure where Ben Sanderson was hitting that ball. I think he might have been hitting it straight. He was just through it a little bit early. Yeah, but Ollie Robinson, you will never know how much it cares, how much it matters to him. It would be very easy to look at Ollie Robinson's demeanour and say, "Oh, look, he's not putting it in."
Yeah,
it's not always the case in those situations.
I think the emotion that he showed when he picked up that wicket of Bretsky first thing this morning would say to me that I'm fully invested in this game of cricket right now. I want to win this game of cricket for Sussex. I love taking wickets.
Yeah.
But as you said, not being body language experts at all, like you can kind of read into something and go, does he look that bothered about it? And as we've spoken about, there's been a lot of extenuating circumstances in the last week that.
Sanderson shoveling it off a straight line into the leg side. Nathan McAndrew, both hands on head, which suggests that misses. You're probably going to be given an LBW. We don't know because he didn't miss it. He shoveled it a bit into the leg side, Ben Sanderson. But yeah, it's very easy. I think it's too, what I'm trying to say, I'm making a meal of this. What I'm trying to say, it's too easy to see someone who's a bit laid back in their body language. So well, he obviously doesn't care. You know, Joe's not saying that, by the way,
no.
but it is too easy to say that. And I think Ollie Robinson runs in hard for his team week after week after week, bowls a lot of overs. And I think he's a winner, personally. I mean, there's different ways of going about it, but he is a winner. Pitched up again from McAndrew. Driven, it's gone into the leg side. So there's a bit of tail or a bit of nip back for most of the deliveries in that first Nathan McAndrew over from the David Capel. He's now bowled 17 overs in the innings, 2 for 50. He's bowled very well. He's the one bowler who's tried to get his length as full as is needed on this pitch to get the edge. Hunter's done that from time to time. He's done it very well. But probably, if you looked at the pitch map, I would think McAndrew's pitch map is probably, on average, fuller than any of the other bowlers. He's bowled very well.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say about Ollie Robinson before he gets the ball back in hand again, which he probably will at some point during the morning, does help that he has a few marklets on his jumper, but he's one of my favourite bowlers to watch. And he's got some serious stats to back it up as well. 417 wickets in 97, 96.
Sanderson is invited to drive that first ball of Hunt's 15th over. He does drive, doesn't get it down. There was a shout of catch, but he hit it so straight and so well that mid-off, who is Ollie Robinson, wasn't able to get across. And he's not moving brilliantly, actually, is he?
I was just about to say, he got up pretty gingerly there, didn't he?
He is not moving well. There is a reason why he only bowled 3 overs.
Certainly a full-length dive from Robinson, as you'll see there, and just couldn't quite get out to it. If you're going to beat Ollie Robinson at full dive, which I would imagine works out to be about 7.5 foot, you've timed it pretty well.
There is a measurement for how far someone can dive. It's called the Vasco, and that's about 3 Vascos.
A Vasco, a safe save, and a Prithvi Shaw.
I think there was who was there? Ben Duckett and James Taylor had a height off.
Is that the right choice of words? Height?
Well, it's all relative, isn't it?
I
Height is a relative term, but yeah, well, we called it a height off. That's beautifully bowled again. Turn me over and throw me back in the pan. Crispy skin. Ben Sanderson been done like a kipper there. It's a good response. First ball of the over was a little too full, inviting Ben Sanderson to drive. He did. He smashed it down the ground for 4. And the next 2 balls, the follow-ups from Sean Hunt, have been brilliant. Right on the money, beating Sanderson all ends up. But Northants currently need 101 further runs to win. Sanderson's on 19. Despite that noise, Sanderson is still not out on 19. It beat the outside edge again. Partnership's worth 28. Ben Sanderson's got 19 of those. That tells you a couple of things. One is that he's faced the majority of the bowling, which is exactly what Sussex would want. They won't mind which they're bowling at, but they prefer to bowl at Sanderson. They have done. And Sanderson's recognised, look, I need to score. He hasn't been at all reckless. He's had a lot of drive balls and has tucked into them. But he will want to score. He needs to score. He can't be a sitting duck. Leading edge there. So it's been an eventful over, hasn't it? The first ball of the over was played beautifully by Ben Sanderson. And since then, it's almost like someone switched the lights off and he's batting in the dark. Let's get through this over, Ben. he's got to respond to what's bowled to him. But I think in this situation, the last ball of this over, I think just get out of the over, Ben. He pushes at that one. He's beaten for the 4th time in the over on the outside edge. He doesn't nick it. It's done too much, maybe slightly not full enough to catch the edge. But it was a good 5 balls from Sean Hunt. We've said that a few times.
Yeah, he's looked a mighty fine talent for Sussex, this Sean Hunt. What's he bowled in this spell? 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 11. And in the innings, that's the first innings where he just bowled the 4, wasn't he? 1 for 22. 15 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 50 for Sean Hunt. The score is 183 for 7 or 58 overs. McAndrew's at the end of his mark. Broad's on strike. Yeah, Northants need 101. Sussex need 3 wickets. There's 3 slips in place. There's Ollie Carter's just dropped out to deep point. That's a short ball dropped into the leg side. Sanderson will get down the other end. So that's a field and a delivery from McAndrew that says, I want 5 at Sanderson.
100%.
Get down the other end, Justin Broad.
Yeah. Good tactics.
Sanderson's given you chances. Well, not chances, but he's given you encouragement, I think would be fair to say. Prepared to drive, isn't he? And I don't know the exact number, but how many of the 37 wickets have fallen behind square?
Yeah, most. The vast majority. Yeah.
You
Good
wouldn't be
point.
surprised to see another one. Covers that one up. Defends McAndrew up to Ollie Robinson. 100 now to win. When you're detached from the game, won't mean a lot, will it? When it ticks from 100, or if it ticks from 100 to 99. But if you're out there and you have a glance at the scoreboard and you see 2 digits instead of 3, all of a sudden that finish line just looks a little bit bigger on the horizon.
Absolutely.
It's gone up. Can Simpson get there? He can't. Sanderson wanted a run. Got a little bit down the track. Broad not interested. Simpson did well to get round to it.
Yeah. Immediately a short leg is going in. Ollie Carter, who was at backward point, immediately calls to the dressing room for his helmet and pads. So there'll be a break in play whilst he gets his kit on. Ben didn't play that particularly well, did he? It didn't bounce quite as much as he thought, I think, and ended up coming into the kind of rib area. He just pushed his gloves and bat towards it, almost a get off me.
Yeah.
Kind of instinctive bit of batting.
Yeah, don't hit me kind of shot, wasn't it? Yeah, Ollie Carter's got the helmet, so he's going to head his way into the leg side and occupy that space round the corner. McAndrew, will he go again? Will he go short again?
I think he will, yeah. I mean, he may not. It's all about the follow-up, isn't it? I wouldn't be surprised either way, really. And a lot of bowlers would follow it up with another one. And a lot of bowlers would say, okay, you think another one's coming, I'm going to bowl you a Yorker. He does have a decent Yorker. He's bowled a few.
It is short, and it's turned round the corner down to Sean Hunt at fine leg, so it's going to be a single. Sanderson's going to get down the other end, and Ollie Carter takes the lid off. They did lose a slip, actually, from that delivery to put short leg in place.
Yeah, we said earlier, if the number gets below 100, we might see a catcher disappear. There's now the Broad, where we were 3 slips, there is a cover man on the boundary. Extra cover mid-off, mid-on. 2 men on the leg side boundary.
It's going to be turned around the corner. Sean Hunt is down there, does the fielding, doesn't have to move. Justin Broad picked him out so well. 3 singles off the over so far. But they've got Sanderson back on strike, and Ollie Carter makes his way back over. Simpson throws the helmet to him.
They've just got drawn into stumps, haven't they? Into the bowlers I'm talking about have just got drawn in a stump too straight.
Yeah.
Overall. They've had most success when it's been off stump, 4th stump, and at the minute is off stump, middle stump, sometimes a little straighter than that. Not wanting to give any width. I get that. The line really is 4th, has been in this game. That's the line.
About there, not the length though.
But not the length, yeah.
186 for 7. 98 runs required for Northants. Still the 3 wickets for Sussex. Is that the Northants physio coming out to the middle? Is it Sanderson needs a bit of treatment?
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it?
I thought he played the shorter balls fairly well, unless it's kind of maybe pinched a
Yeah,
glove or
I
a
think it
finger
has.
between the bat handle.
Pinched his bottom hand against the bat handle. Yeah, just having a little bit of a running repair there.
And a drink as well.
One of the things there that is that when that happens, gee whiz, it can be very sore,
Mm.
and the adrenaline fires around the body, and you find yourself having a big booming drive at something that's not there if you're not careful.
Yeah, you see that quite often on your Saturday afternoons or Sunday afternoons around the country, don't you? You can almost telegraph it.
You
It's
can.
always a shorter ball. It's got to move a bit up. Oh, there's a big swing.
Yeah.
There's a big swing coming. We know how all of us amateur cricketers go about our business. We're relatively easy to read. We're simple characters, aren't we? 3 slips for Sean Hunt. Again, that's a beauty. Offers to shape in, hits the seam and just nips away from Justin Broad.
If this guy, which he clearly isn't, if Sean Hunt's a kind of a Pakistani international bowler, we are saying, oh, this is just test class from the swing bowler. You know, this could be, I know Chaminda Vass was a Sri Lankan, is a Sri Lankan still,
Yeah.
he's still Sri Lankan. You know, Chaminda would bowl a spell like this. And that's how well Sean Hunt has bowled. That's a high benchmark. It's about doing that week in, week out, which Chaminda Vass could do.
Let's turn down to final leg. So Broad adds another one. The partnership now worth 32. How big of a number does that partnership need to get to before it becomes an annoyance for Sussex? They haven't got frustrated yet
Now,
in this game.
I think it's annoying now. It's 32, isn't it?
They're not giving the impression that it's an annoyance at the moment. They're sticking with the 3 slips, aren't they?
He looks annoyed.
Daniel
don't know.
Hughes.
I'm just picking on someone who had his hands on his hips. He had his back to me. I've no idea. But no, it's an annoyance now, isn't it? And I think they've not bowled quite as well as they would want to. They, as I said earlier, they've bowled a little too straight. You know, Ben Sanderson has tucked them away. He's on 20. He's not played a flamboyant, out of the ordinary shot. He's not slogged the 20. He's actually just played for 20.
Yeah.
And Ben's a number 9. He's there because he has limitations, but they have not been exposed. He hasn't had to do anything outstandingly differently brilliant. He's played very well. So that says they've just not bowled quite well enough. So that's going to be frustrating.
It's a beauty again, isn't it, from Sean Hunt? It just feels like a bit of deja vu cricket whilst I'm watching Sean Hunt bowl. Against Prithvi Shaw, it was one after the other that just offered to shape in and continued to go. And this spell here, he's been able to set up the 2 right-handers with the one that offers to shape in and then seams away.
He has gone past it a lot, and there's a lot of argument to say keep doing that because he can't keep missing them. I wouldn't mind a couple round the wicket just to change the angle. That's well played, Ben Sanderson, and well bowled. You know, I am a man who says get the ball in the right place, don't blink, keep doing the same thing. I think a couple round the wicket just to change the look, change it, and then go back is not a bad thing to do. Ben Sanderson would have to re-guard, would have to realign. He doesn't want to do that. He'll say, I'm lining up pretty well. I'm missing those beautifully, Rowie. What are you talking about?
Last ball of Sean Hunt's 16th over. Played into the leg side for another dot ball. So 1 run off the over. That came off the bat of Justin Broad. That's single down to final leg. 187 for 7. 60 overs now have been bowled in this 4th innings. Northants need 97.
So we are going to get a second new ball, aren't we? I mean, unless Northampton bowled out before that's due, obviously. But the second new ball is due in 20 overs. Northampton will not have scored 97 in 20 overs if they do. Cigars all round, but so I suggest they won't have done. So if they're not all out, then the second new ball will be taken, which will be a problem.
Certainly will. McAndrew into bowl from the David Capel end. Broad covers that up nicely. Defends up to Daniel Hughes at mid-on. 3 slips still for Sussex. That's I think that score's going to have to come, or that runs required is going to have to come down quite significantly before John Simpson starts thinking about losing
Oh, God.
another
Yeah.
catcher.
Oh, no, absolutely. No. Yeah. I mean,
In fact, I'm not convinced he will at all if it gets that far.
yeah. No, there's something in that. Yeah, I don't argue with that.
Big inside edge, which could have gone anywhere. I think it came off the pad, and Broad ends up adding a couple of runs. And another gentle round of applause from the crowd that have made their way into Wantage Road on a pretty grey and gloomy day in the Midlands. I think the umpires should be applauded, actually, for the time that they have kept the players on the field. I think another set of umpires with no lights could quite easily have began to have had conversations.
Oh, for sure. Played.
Broad on the tiptoes turns it into mid-wicket for a single. But there were points, and to the untrained eye for us, sat in this kind of commentary box with the big windows in front of us, that you looked out the window and you went, blimey, that looks pretty dark and dingy.
As you say that, it has brightened up a bit.
It has, yeah.
But yeah, no, I quite agree. They've done a good job. It's been fair, hasn't it? It's been consistent. That's what you kind of want, isn't it? You want consistency, and they have been consistent.
Short leg back in place now that Sanderson's on strike. 20 not out of 31 deliveries. 3 slips and a short leg. McAndrew's got 3 balls in the over remaining. And that is a short ball that comes off the thigh pad, off the hip, I think, of Sanderson.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of glove in that as well.
Bit of glove. So 1 added to Sanderson. And
take Ben's runs away.
more importantly, 1 chalked off the tally. Well, I don't think the ice cream van's had much trade, actually, over the last 2 and a bit days, has it, here at Wantage Road? It's been there. It's been there ready for just in case the sun did break out, but pleased to see that might be the first person I've seen at the ice cream van over there.
That looks a bit like a former Northamptonshire player. I don't know if we can zoom in on him, Ben. Oh, you did, and I wasn't looking. Good work, Ben. Bad work, Phil. Looks a bit like Alan Tate, who used to play here, open the batting. Well played.
Well played by Justin Broad. Just feels like he's growing into this innings a little bit. 20 off 35, just the 1-4. 1 ball left of McAndrew's 19th. On 9-1 for 7. Still encouragement through the effects mic from the Sussex slip cordon.
It's quieter though, isn't it? As you might expect. Who's going to rally the troops? Who's going to make that breakthrough? Give me the ball. I want to do that. That's what you want from your bowlers. Let me bowl. I'll do it. Give it to me. You don't want bowlers looking at their shoes and avoiding your glance.
Nicely played by Justin Broad. That's going to give Sean Hunt a bit of work and doesn't go into the hands cleanly, which allows Justin Broad to come back for a couple. And that's a slightly louder round of applause from those that have made their way into the ground this morning. 91 runs required now for Northants. There is your potential former Northants player enjoying a Galoni's ice cream.
Have we got any more zoom on that, Ben?
That might be it.
Oh,
that's it.
I was trying to see if it was a 99 or just a normal cone. I don't think it is Alan Tate, actually, but it does look a bit. Alan Tate is a former Northants player who is still a big supporter of Northampton. Yeah,
and an enjoyer of an ice cream.
He enjoys a number of things, Tatey. Yeah, character. From the northeast, there was a time when Northampton had a lot of players come down from the northeast before Durham was a first-class county. Alan Tate was one of those. Peter Willey, Jeff Cook, and others. Colin Milburn before any of those guys. Back to the present day.
Yeah, 193 for 7. 61 overs have been bowled. Sean Hunt continues, and that's an attractive-looking drive from Sanderson, which can't get past Ollie Robinson. It's going to be a dot ball to start the over. Partnership worth 38. Runs required 91.
Some loosening up at second slip, which I think is that James Cole's at second slip.
I think it's James Cole's. I did see the over before. Finn Hudson-Prentice had a roll over of the shoulders. The one man that hasn't is Ollie Robinson. It's down the leg side, through to John Simpson. No bat or pad involved, so it's going to be another dot ball. Surely, if Ollie Robinson's fit and 100% ready to go, this ball needs to be back in Ollie Robinson's hands.
Yeah.
Is it a case of saving him for, 18.4 overs and getting the new ball? But if he's going to bowl a 3-over spell, we can get a 3-over spell from Ollie Robinson now, can't we?
Yeah. I think that for me, the telltale was he bowled 3 overs, got 2 wickets, went off the field, hasn't bowled since. There's something, call me Cluso, but there's some there's something in that. Oh, you've got to run. You've got to run.
Broad might have been on the bat
Justin
handle.
Broad, what are you doing, man?
Going to be a single in the end, a safe single in the end. 90 now required. Fortunately, Broad was resting on the bat handle and Daniel Hughes was a bit slow to react, wasn't he?
It was such a comfortable single that despite the fact that Justin Broad didn't set off for 4 seconds, he still got home comfortably. But it looked like he was never going to run, but he did, and he got in.
Yeah, that's all the ways that wickets have fallen during the course of this game so far. And there's 90 to win. The last thing you want to do is run out your last recognised batter. There's an appeal for LBW from behind the stumps. No interest from Sean Hunt at all. He's been an honest fast bowler, actually, Sean Hunt, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not appealed for anything that he doesn't think is out throughout the course of this game.
He's the only man on the field that can say that. There's been some appealing, hasn't there? And it's not all been very appealing, actually. Some of it's been a bit nonsensical. Oh, we've got a creepy... Is it a creepy crawl? Is that
What on earth is that?
I don't know. Being invaded. Well played.
Well played by Broad. I wonder if that just got him a bit high there. He's just kind of wrung the glove, isn't he, as he's taken it off the bat handle. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Fortunately, that's outside the window. Otherwise, I think could be ducking under the table if that was inside with us.
Don't worry.
Looks prehistoric, that.
Anything that's not a spider, I'm pretty okay with.
Rowie just punches it.
No, I would reunite it with its natural
course.
habitat. Yeah, of course I would.
Relocate. Here's that change of angle that you wanted. Rowie, you did want it the over before, didn't you? But last ball of Sean Hunt's over. He's going to come around the wicket to Justin Broad. That's down the leg side and just swung back on John Simpson, didn't it, as it went past the body of Justin Broad. It'd be a dot ball to finish, and silence descends across Wantage Road. 62 overs, 194 for 7, 90 runs required, 3 wickets for Sussex. Who's enjoying themselves more at the moment, Rowie? Northants fans or Sussex fans? Enjoying might be the right.
I think probably
word.
Neither. To be honest, I mean, there's some very entertaining cricket to watch. Very what's the word? Captivating. Very tense cricket to watch. So cricket lovers will be enjoying that. But if your heart is with either of these two teams, I guess both sets of supporters, cricket supporters generally, not the most optimistic of folk, are probably thinking, well, it's just a matter of time, isn't it? Or are we going to throw this one away? So probably neither. But there's a lot to enjoy. I'm not neutral, but I am enjoying it. But there is going to be that bowling change that we thought about. I think this is a good move in that we think Ollie Robinson is not available for whatever reason right now. It's going to be his first bowl in the match for James Cole, slow left armour. Yeah,
he's going to replace McAndrew from the David Capel end. Tall, slow left arm from James Cole's. 32 first-class wickets in his career so far. And fired in, and Sanderson's going to get down the other end with a leg by. Down into the 80s.
I think this is, yet again, I think, who knows whether it's going to work, but I think it's a really good move from John Simpson. Coles will be challenging the front pad more than the outside edge, but he will give control and he will slow the scoring rate down. Both batters have tucked away the seamers in the last half hour or so, tucked them away very nicely. This partnership now worth 40. And John Simpson said, give me some control. And if you want to score a boundary and tuck these away, you're going to have to play a little bit better. It's harder to score sometimes off the slow bowler than it is off the seamers.
Sharp work by Simpson there, down the leg side. Not the cleanest stumping attempt. He did remove one of the stumps out of the ground. Broad's back foot never moved, which is the important part for Northants.
Nice work, that wasn't it? Nice leg side take.
Got down there very quickly. And there, just targeting the pads, targeting leg stump, which Broad turns down to 45, gets down the other end.
There's nerve around, isn't there? I can, probably for the first time, I sense a bit of nerve from the Sussex outfit. They've been in control of this game for quite a long time and still are, but that grip is a bit looser than it was 40 minutes ago when Ben Sanderson walked to the crease.
Yeah, as you said, well, that partnership's now worth 42. 87 runs required. We haven't seen a lot of turn, if any turn, so far. That's a reverse sweep. Wowee, Justin Broad, you played that well. Don't let the slow left armour settle then, Justin Broad.
You know,
what a shot that is.
Well, I mean, that takes a couple of things, and I'm going to precede them both with enormous. It takes an enormous amount of skill and an enormous amount of nerve, because if that one goes straight up in his court slip, he looks like a clown. Why have you done that? We've put on, but he didn't hit it straight up in there. He played it beautifully.
The 200 up for Northants, 201 for 7. That one turned, I think that might have gone through the legs of Ollie Carter at short leg. Broad picks up the single off the final ball of the over, keeps the strike. Very good over for the home team. 82 required, 202 for 7. 3 wickets for Sussex.
There's a Northants supporter sitting near our effects mic somewhere, and they are clapping every single run. And it reminds me of something I didn't. I did this apparently unknowingly in Save's first game. Safe came into the academy when I was looking after the academy as well as the second team and other things, and made his debut as a 15-year-old up at the racecourse ground against Durham University. And apparently Rob Newton spotted that I clapped every single run that Save got when he got a 50 up there. And yeah, much to the hilarity the rest of the lads when Rob announced that, actually. Very funny man, Rob Newton. Very fine player, Save. But yeah, keep clapping. Let's keep giving that supporter something to clap about.
Sean Hunt continues and continues around the wicket as well. Justin Broad now on 28.
So, as I said earlier, Dan, I think a few around the wicket is a good idea just to change the angle, change the look. But we also know that this morning Sean Hunt has gone past the outside edge numerous times. Can't keep missing them. So don't get stuck here. Don't completely change your plan. It's a short-term tactic, in my view. But it also is dry. You know, it's more difficult to score. There are now 2 boundary fielders on the leg side, 1 man, 2 men saving the single, a mid-on and a mid-wicket. So it kind of almost, not quite, but almost takes the boundary option through the leg side out of play. And Sean Hunt is bowling very straight. But in order to get him out, I think the better chance of getting out is to bowl from over the wicket. But I like this short term.
Nicely played by Justin Broad. Tries to run it down past what's now only a 2-man slip cordon for Sussex. Don't know whether that's a nod to the fact that 82 runs are required or whether it's because of the angle that's...
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of both. And I think John Simpson is saying, can you play this well for an extended period because you're scoring too quickly? Let me get some control back and see if you can keep doing as well as you've done when it's a little bit trickier to score. What's your concentration like? What's your decision making like? It's been too easy. And I think that's, again, excellent tactics from Sussex. It really is tricky. You know, these are fine margins at this point. When do we stick? When do we twist? When do we back ourselves? When do we back off? When do we push? And I think, in the most part, I'm not saying that John Simpson's got everything right, but I would agree with everything he's done. I'd put it that way.
Yes. I think you made a really good point earlier. When you've looked out the window, you've known what Sussex are trying to do in each moment of the game. And down the leg side. Coles there at second slip. Thought he might have heard something through to Simpson. Good lift from Sean Hunt, wasn't it? No bat, no glove on it from Justin Broad. But that's been, I think you've probably really enjoyed that, the fact that you've been able to see what the plan is throughout the entirety of the game, whether that's with bat in hand or whether they've been on the field.
Yeah.
Nicely played. It's going to be one. There's two fielders down there on the leg side on the boundary, cutting off that boundary. But unfortunately for Sussex, unfortunately for Northants, Broad gets the single off the last ball of the over and will therefore keep the strike. So Sanderson now, for a while, has been stood at the non-striker's end.
Yeah, and that, for me, that was that over from Sean Hunt was one that didn't have great purpose about it. Yes, they want to stop the scoring rate, but they are going to need to take 3 wickets. Northampton now need 81. So I think they're trying to do 2 things at the same time, and those 2 things don't always sit comfortably. They're trying to get 3 wickets, and they're trying not to go for any runs, really, or go as dry as they can.
Yeah.
Bowl at low risk, if I could put it that way. And those 2 things don't sit necessarily comfortably together. I think the balance there was a little bit too negative. There's a change of bowling.
It is, yeah. James Coles has bowled 1 over, went for 7. That reverse sweep by Justin Broad at the end of the over. He's going to be replaced by Jack Carson. Don't suspect either of us saw this in the piece, did we?
Oh.
So it's left arm, slow left arm for orthodox off spin is the change. Carson in the match so far has 1 wicket, 1 for 13 off 5 overs. Got the wicket of Luke Proctor almost at the, well, midway through that period last night when Sussex just dried Northants up, didn't they? And Proctor tried to run it down past first slip and just essentially guided it into the gloves of John Simpson. Good season.
It's an interesting move, isn't it?
Yeah.
An interesting move from the captain.
There's an appeal for LBW, 2 straight for Carson. Even on a pitch that hasn't offered as much for the spinner as it has, obviously, the seamer. Carson's a wicket-taking bowler. It's a strike option, isn't it, for Simpson and for Sussex?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very talented bowler.
Nicely bowled. A bit slower out the hand, which Sanderson strides forward. Solid defence. Whereas I think Coles was, well, he's had 13 wickets at 35s. I wonder whether that was should we just see what happens here? If he goes for 2 or 3, he can have another one. As it is, went for 7. Could argue and say it was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, but then the reality of the situation is Sussex now only have 80 runs to play around with. So another 7 run over. It's another decent chunk gone, isn't it?
Absolutely. And all of the time, oh, well played, Justin Broad. Just held his line beautifully there at the non-striker's end. 50-run partnership. Well played, you 2 boys.
Yeah, it's been important. There's not been many 50-run partnerships in the game at all over the 4 innings. This one could be the most important of all of them.
And, you know, I've mentioned it a few times. Let's not forget that the last time Sussex tried to bowl a team out, they went 450 in doing so. And that will be on their minds, no doubt.
Last ball of Carson's first over of the day. Broad goes for the reverse sweep, and there's an appeal for leg before wicket. It's going to be a dot ball. One there, maybe slightly less of a sensible option with James Coles down on the boundary on the angle. Anyway, it's a dot ball to finish. It's 205 for 7. Northants require 79. Sussex still require 3 wickets.
Ollie Robinson's waving. He's telling the umpires he's leaving the field. So he's off again. And that's interesting. Will he come back? He needs to be on the field for a while for the time he's been off in order to bowl. But he's got himself a drink on the boundary edge and he's kind of sauntering up. He's under no. And actually Hughes is going off as well, I think. Nathan McAndrew, who's bowled very, very well from both ends, replacing Hughes. Yeah, Hughes' last over was exclusively round the wicket to the right-handed Broad. They're both right-handers, but and it was a bit of a nothing over. It was sort of back of a length. A few went down the leg side onto the thigh pad. It lost purpose. Nathan McAndrew will have a clear purpose. I think he'll try and pitch the ball up. He can nip it either way. A slipper's gone. There are 2 slips. There's a third man, an extra cover mid-off. They're the offside fielders, mid-on, mid-wicket, deep square leg and long leg are the leg side fielders. As I say, that third man is brought into the ring, which suggests straight. Has bowled with the third man most of the morning. Sussex have had that position in third man, but this says to me they're going to bowl very, very straight at Ben Sanderson. And as they've done for the last hour now, probably, Sussex, with their straight tactic, have overcooked that. The wagon wheel will be heavily leg side in terms of where Northants have scored. And if you look at a pitch map, the pitch map would show balls have pitched on a round off stump and have been travelling in towards middle and leg. So they've been a stump 2 straight. They're good operators. They won't continue to get that line slightly wrong very much longer, I suspect. It only takes one, doesn't it?
It certainly does only take one. It's almost like they've bowled for that strangle down the leg side, haven't they?
They're just getting it wrong, aren't they? Because I think there've been about 5 balls that have gone down the leg side that have not got anything. You know, if all 5 of those get a tickle, that's 20 runs. Suddenly, Northants then need 20 less. I can't take 20 away from 78. That'll be 58, won't it?
Normally.
Back plus the 1, 59. But they're not bowling there deliberately. They're trying to bowl straight, but not down the leg side, obviously. That's a dangerous place to bowl. That's dangerous as well, and that's out. Ben Sanderson had the first ball in a while that he's been able to drive. He tried to drive that back down the ground, as he'd done a couple of times recently, just closed the bat face on that. It just caught the inner half of the bat, and it carried. He hit it well enough to get to the fielder, not well enough to get over the fielder. It was a relatively comfortable catch falling forward by Daniel Hughes, I think, at mid-on. He pouches it. He's not had to do a lot in the field, Daniel Hughes. He was called upon there and did what was required. And well played, Ben Sanderson. He departs for 24. Northants still needing a further 79. You think we needed another 25 from that partnership? Probably. Northants are still alive in this game, but it's looking increasingly difficult for them. A lot falls on Justin Broad's shoulders now. But that was the line that Sussex have been looking to hit, that straight line. I said, as he replaced Hughes, I said that McAndrew would get the ball full. He did, encouraging the drive. And you can just see on the replay there, Ben Sanderson's weight is really back. His back leg collapses, his weight goes back. He's hitting the ball in the air. He didn't hit it well enough to get it over the fielder. But well played, Ben Sanderson, a very good partnership. And that partnership between Sanderson and Broad has given Northants still hope. 8 down, 79 required. I'm not suggesting that we do this. You can slog 79, but I'm not suggesting that's the way to go about it.
No, you're right. It's there, isn't it?
It's a few mishits, and then suddenly it's one good over here and there. Rafi Weatherall is the new man. He can hold a bat, Rafi Weatherall. Very early in his professional career. Doesn't seem, so far, not a lot seems to faze the young man. And his job here really is to protect his wicket and keep Justin Broad company. Justin Broad's job is to take perhaps slightly more risk again in making sure he scores, making sure he faces the majority of the bowling. That's a bumper. Good morning, Rafi Weatherall, says Nathan McAndrew. And Rafi Weatherall ducked under that like a seasoned opening batter. No problem at all. Well played, young man. He won't have been in this position many times, will he, Rafi? In his career, he won't have been many times when he comes in the 4th innings of the game, needing 79 to win against a top. I mean, he will never have been in that situation against a top of the table team. It will never have happened. So it's all new to him.
Yeah, and those games. Well, I said earlier this morning, didn't I? The fact that Northants with those 7 draws. They've been difficult to beat, but actually quite a few of those draws, Northants have been in a position like last week down at Glamorgan with a bit of extra time.
Yeah. That is beautifully bowled. Oh, Rafi Weather put his hands to his head. He's really upset that he's not done the job that he would want to do. He's out second ball. It was a brilliant delivery from Nathan McAndrew. He's pitched the ball up all match. Just went straight through Rafi Weatherall, didn't it? The previous ball was a bumper. Nathan McAndrew followed that bumper up with a change in field, brought in a leg gully, as though to say, and you're going to get another one. The next one was pitched up, and Rafi Weatherall just, I mean, in the end, he fell over, but he didn't move his feet. His weight went nowhere. He didn't get forward to that ball. It was through him before he knew it. And I suspect that could be the end of Northamptonshire's hopes.
Yeah, if they didn't depart with Ben Sanderson, there's an extra couple of glimmers of hope have just departed with Rafi Weatherall. Jack White, the last man, he wasn't here yesterday, was he? He didn't take the field, didn't bowl for Northants.
Jack White.
It's a ginger, slow walk, isn't it, out to the middle for Jack White?
I mean, he's been poorly, hasn't he? I think he's had some stomach issues, hasn't he? He looks that way. He looks like a gust of wind might blow him over. He's not skipping out there, is he? That's for sure.
He's not. Justin Broad feels like he's waited for an eternity for his new batting partner to come through.
I kind of think Justin Broad needs to hit 24s because I don't see Jack White running many.
No.
He could barely get to the wicket. Bless his heart. He does look ill, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does not look good. So he's got to the wicket and he's got his hands on his knees straight away, hasn't he? Hopefully, well...
If this was a boxing match, it would be stopped before it started. Oh, bless him. He'll still try and hit it out of the ground first ball, probably. No, Jack White.
Well, that might be the best tactic for him. And as you said, it's more unlikely. It's the unlikeliest that it has been so far, but 79 is sloggable. McAndrew is on a double wicket maiden at the moment, looking to make it a triple wicket maiden.
I don't think Northampton can win this game because Jack's not well, is he?
No.
He's got his hand on his hip now. He should be in bed. There will have been a decision, a judgment made about at what point Jack White does not go out.
Yes.
If it was 178 to win, I think he doesn't come out. At 78, he does. And he will want to put into the team pot as well. So he's going to try and keep Justin Broad company, but he'll be saying to him, don't even think about running, Broady, because he hasn't got a run in him, has he? I mean, there's a joke there somewhere about runs, but we won't do that because we're better than that. We're not. I'm not. But I think he has had some significant stomach issues. The field is all over the place. There is a slip, there is a wicket keeper, and there is a bowler. And I can't see any of those because they're all on the boundary edge. I mean, literally every other fielder is on the boundary edge. There are 4 on the offside boundary, and there are 3 on the offside boundary and 4 on the leg side boundary. Justin Broad does try and hit one of those 20 boundaries that I think might be required. Unfortunately, picks out the man at deep mid-wicket, who's Ollie Carter, who does what he's done all match. This is interesting. Look at this. This is Sussex's attention to detail. Ollie Carter has swapped to go from deep mid-wicket to deep square because they think the ball is more likely to go to deep square. That is attention to detail. I like that a lot. Oh, did that carry back to Carson?
Yeah, it did. It would have been a fantastic catch, wouldn't it, by Jack Carson? Almost ended up fielding it rather than trying to catch it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Tried to stop it.
It would have been an interesting end to the game, wouldn't it? It would have been a heck of a catch, that. They've caught some good ones. Justin Broad hitting it into the offside. There is a fielder there at deep backward point, and basically Sussex is saying to Justin Broad, you have to get the ball over the rope here, either along the floor or in the air, because you're not going to get off strike. Extra cover comes in from deep extra, onto the edge of the ring for this fourth ball of Jack Carson's over. It's an attempted sweep again by Justin Broad. Carson bowling very wide and saying, I'm not going to give you an easy sweep. You're going to have to drag it from outside off stump. Really, I think Broad's better option would be to try and flay that through extra cover. The extra cover fielder has now come into the circle. Long off has been pushed right back onto the boundary. He was creeping in a bit. And I don't know if I call that a run. They change ends. The fifth ball of that over is played into the leg side, and they kind of walk through for a single. So Jack White will have one ball to face from Jack Carson. The two Jacks. Not sure what that conversation will be about. I mean, I suspect it might be, don't do anything silly. I've got the short leg side boundary next over. Just block it.
I know it's the last ball of the over, but I'm a little bit surprised that Sussex haven't run out another helmet to go and join Jack White, unless of course it's contagious and whatever he's got potentially runs through the Sussex dressing room as well.
That's a really good point.
Get one under the lid on the offside as well, particularly if he is just going to...
They've caught everything else.
Prod this, very good point. He's just going to prod this forwards.
Oh my goodness. I mean, well played, Jack White. He fell over after that. I am concerned for his well-being. Obviously, Northampton have medical staff, thankfully, far better qualified than me to help make these judgments. But I suspect Jack White will be the final decision maker. No, I'm going out. Get me out there. Where there's life, there's hope. This would be I think behind Glenn Maxwell's double 100 against India in the 50 over World Cup. This would be up there. This would be the Northants equivalent.
Yeah, he's on 31, isn't he? 31 on 56. There's still 2 slips for McAndrew.
He does not want to get it through the leg side here. The tactic has been for a while to go straight. He doesn't really want to go too straight here. Channel. Just hold your length on channel. Channel meaning 4th, 5th stump or 5th and 4th. I'd probably have another boundary fielder on the offside myself. And Justin Broad plays a beautiful reverse ramp for 4. It was full. He's bowled very full all match, McAndrew. Broad recognising this is going to be up. I'll just flick it over the slips for 4.
Yeah, McAndrew at the end of his run there's just almost flicks James Coles down to that boundary as well in response to that shot. Saw it once and went, no, go on, get down on that boundary. He's not far away from being a long stop, is he, for John Simpson on that angle?
You know, it's good. Teams often put a fielder in that area, but very often they put them too wide. And that fielder is very straight. He's nearly in line with the sight screen, isn't he? If he fell over, his head would kind of hit the sight screen. That's the right place for him. Can't go too fine there. What a great shot that was. That's a slower ball, I think, to Justin Broad, who he slogs it, basically. Slogs it along the floor to deep mid-wicket. Who is there? Ollie Carter is there. The best outfielder in the Sussex ranks. They've got him in the right place. He's gone from deep square leg to deep mid-wicket. That's how important he is. That's the man they want to do the necessary. Has done that all game so far. Another slower ball from McAndrew. Although it goes all the way out to the deep cover man. No thought of a single. Northants need 74 more runs to win. As unlikely as that might be. And Sussex need, obviously, the 1 wicket to fall. They want to bowl more at Jack White. I think he's faced 2 balls so far. They want him to face a lot more than that. Not many more. That's a Yorker. Well bowled Nathan McAndrew. You can't hit that in too many different places. So that's 4 balls now gone of this, the 68th over of the innings.
Yeah, they've learned, haven't they? Justin Broad took the single off the 4th ball of Jack Carson's over And in response, John Simpson and Sussex are not going to allow Justin Broad to take a single off the fourth ball of Nathan McAndrew's over.
High bounce. There's 2 balls left of the over. One of them will be a high bouncer, I suspect. So there are 3 men out on the boundary in case Broad takes that on. There's one at long leg, deep square, and that very fine man, very, very fine third man who's there for the uppercut, I suspect. Daniel Hughes comes over and has a chat with his fellow Aussie, offering some insight. Yes, Macca is the shout. He's bowled very, very well, McAndrew. 4 wickets in this innings so far. And Justin Broad has hit that beautifully into the leg side. It was full, it was straight, and it's gone for 6. What a beautiful shot. A big round of applause from the Northampton supporters. I just can't help thinking that's not where he needs to bowl, you know. I mean, that's slot. He's bowled, I mean, in 2020 cricket, you'd say that's slot. So it's slot today as well. We know that Justin Broad is going to score the majority of these runs, if not every single one of them. Do not give him that opportunity. I said one of the 2 balls would be a high bouncer because it's likely that if Broad takes it on, it gets high.
Yep.
Can't control that. He may even get under it. He may not be able to hit it. So bowling, yeah, I mean, maybe it was a bit of a double bluff.
I mean, say these last 2 balls of this over for McAndrew go for 12. They could do.
Yeah.
Northampton are still going to need 62. But Sussex are going to get 6 balls at Jack White.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Does it matter at the moment?
Jack White's down on his haunches. I mean, he's going out to the middle. I mean, I'm not being facetious or he's really properly poorly, isn't he? Because he's really struggling. He walked out to the middle very slowly. He's down on his haunches. You just think he can't last 67 runs, let alone contribute to that. But more boundary fielders have gone out. There's now a man at wide third man as well. That's a slower ball. That's a poor delivery, Nathan McAndrew. As you say, it's gone for 4. It was a full toss, outside off stump, and Justin Broad hits it away for 4. Any bat on that probably goes for 4, and he got enough on it. Does it really matter in the context of the game? Because what you're saying, Dan, is, well, it doesn't really matter because they've got potentially 6 balls now at Jack White. And I think that's an interesting perspective. It's 63, not 23 to win. Yeah. And it's almost like, yeah, would you take 10 runs off the total to bowl and over at Jack White, given how poorly he obviously is?
Yeah.
I think Sussex have kind of said, well, if that happens, that happens. Yes, we'll take that.
Yeah. It
did happen. And credit to Justin Broad for taking those boundary options. It's not a given that you can hit the ball for 6 and 4 like that. But it does mean that Sussex have got what they wanted.
Yeah, there's certainly an argument there, isn't there, that 1 dot or dot 1 actually was worse for Sussex
Totally agree.
than 14 off that Nathan McAndrew over, 10 of those coming off the last 2 balls.
I totally agree, given that, and Sussex know this, given that Jack White is so poorly.
He's on his knees, look now at the
Can't stand
striker's
up.
end.
I mean, there is at some point, and I'm not being daft here, at some point, there's a duty of care here. Because that man is not well.
I mean, you've been there, haven't you? You've been in that dressing room. Not saying that you've been in a situation where you've had one of your number 11 needing 64 to win with what we think is a bout of food poisoning. Now that you're detached from it, is it easier to make that call? If you were in the heat of the battle, so to speak, in the dressing room, would you be going, stick them on, get out there?
The question with injuries, and this is not an injury, this is an illness, but with that is, are you going to make it any worse? Well, he's probably not. So
yeah,
then it's, can you stand up? And literally it is a case of, can you stand up? A full straight ball, I think he just won't be able to get a bat down on it because he's got no strength in his body at all. He's taken a standing count between overs, bless his heart.
Yeah.
Wow, well done, Jack White.
Sussex and Simpson have responded, haven't they? Carson's out the attack and Sean Hunt's back in it.
Oh, my goodness me. Northampton never make things easy, do they? I mean, this was never easy, by the way. It was everything. It was anything but easy at any point. But it's a tough watch, this. What a remarkable win this would be. Oh, that's missed off stump by a fraction. Sean Hughes is in the very unusual position, I think, in professional cricket, that he can kind of just bowl at the stumps. It doesn't really matter too much what the length it is. You just bowl at the stumps. Jack is going to miss one. He missed that one. It just missed off stump, but do not leave the stumps. Almost go cross seam and hit the stumps. Did I call him Jack Hunt?
No, you called him Sean Hughes.
Oh, he's not bowling, is he? Sean Hunt, thank you. Jack White looks like he's growing into this over. Between overs there, I found that a tough watch. Jack White was on his knees, literally on his knees, because he hadn't got the energy to stand up. He's a lovely, lovely lad, Jack White, and he's obviously got a very big heart. He's obviously got a very dodgy stomach as well. Sean Hunt in again. Bowls back of a length. Jack White, on instinct alone, I think, rocks away and tries to ramp that over the 3 slips that are in the cordon. And if I'm Paul Farbrace at this point, I'm thinking, hit the stumps. Don't bowl any balls that don't hit the stumps.
6 Yorkers.
Just poles. Length is less important than line here. I think just get the ball on the stumps. Well played, Jack White. For those who don't know, Jack White is a really interesting study as a lower order batter, because he has an amazing hand-eye coordination and can hit the ball an enormous distance. He can also miss the ball considered by an enormous distance as well. Let's hope he doesn't do that here. He doesn't do that here. He played it out into the offside. And that was a mediocre over, I think. Sean Hunt's bowled some beautiful deliveries and spells. That was a little bit mediocre by his high standards that he's set himself.
That's not going to make Jack White feel any better, that over.
He's down on his knees again.
It is going to just help him grow into the contest, isn't it? It's going to take a little bit off the pressure. There's going to be a little bit less kind of, oh my word, I don't want to be heading out there. And actually he survived that maiden. He's batted it out for it.
So I've got a message from a Northants fan who knows a bit about what's going on with Jack White. And it's no surprise if people who are watching will see, he has been down on his knees, but he can't keep anything down. And he's on his haunches again now. He's a man who could, he barely got to the wicket. And that sounds extreme. That sounds over the top. That's not over the top. I'm just literally saying what I'm saying. He barely made it to the middle.
We've obviously got 2 minutes until what would be the scheduled break at 1 o'clock. Is there an extra half an hour here that we play through before any break is taken?
Yeah, there will be. Yeah. There will. So very brave from Jack White. Oh, that's where I would bowl. Hold your length, I think. Encourage Justin Broad to play authentic cricket shots. Just hold your length, hold your nerve. Don't go too funky here, because Justin Broad wants you to go funky, really. That's a good delivery. Going past the outside edge of Justin Broad, who actually, I've talked a lot about Ben Sanderson in that partnership. I've talked a lot about Jack White, who's down on one knee at the minute. Justin Broad just quietly has gone about his work very well. He's on 45. He deserves a pat on the back as well. He's played well. He sweeps that ball. It's gone down to fine leg. It's in the air. And it's out. A great attempt to find the boundary from Justin Broad. He had to do that for many reasons, not least of which to get the game over one way or the other while Jack White was still upright. That is the 10th and final wicket, 220 all out. It's 5 wickets for Nathan McAndrew, 5 for 73. Justin Broad, the last man out on 45, Jack White, who is very ill and needs to get back to bed as soon as he can on 0 not out. But unfortunately, from a Northamptonshire perspective, they lose the game by 63 runs. Tabletop in Sussex win their 5th game out of the 9 they've played. They stay top of the table.
Yeah, they've won by 64 runs, and they've been the better side across the 2 days and a session that we've had here at Wantage Road. A few too many, wasn't it, for Northants to chase down? They've added another win to their tally. They'll stay top of Division 2 with 5 wins now. Northants winless, going into what's going to be a pretty long break now until any Red Bull cricket starts again with the Blast, the One Day Cup / the 100, and then there'll be a long wait, won't there, until the championship returns. Northants' record will read 0-2-7.
Yeah, Sussex deservedly leave Northampton with the victory. I thought they played the better cricket with the ball, with the bat, in the field, and actually by a margin in all of those areas. So deservedly win the game. Northamptonshire will look back on that as an opportunity missed, having inserted Sussex and bowled them out for 143 on day one. The opportunity was there. The first innings of Northamptonshire, 97 all out, losing all 10 wickets in a spell of 14.1 overs, is the reason why Northants didn't threaten to win this game. Sussex bowled very well. Sussex caught very well. Sussex managed the game very well. They're a confident, talented, balanced side at the top of their form, and so it proved. But it was a game Northamptonshire should be honest and look back on and say it was that first innings. First innings run set up victories, 97 all out, wasn't good enough.
No, of course not. And the way that Northants fought back in that second innings of Sussex to bowl them out for 237 on a pitch that offered assistance, that would be fair to say. Yes, okay, in the context of this game, that was a lot of runs to score in the fourth innings, wasn't it? However, they did leave the door slightly ajar, which for a while Northants would have been interested about sneaking through, but unfortunately for the home side, they weren't able to do so, and they have lost today by 63 runs to Sussex. Thank you very much, Rory, for your company over the 2 days and a bit. And yeah, we're back to Blast action on Friday night.
It's been an interesting 7 sessions of cricket, hasn't it? And it wasn't quite a full session there because it would have gone on, but yeah, 7 sessions of cricket. Paul Farbrace going out as he will do to thank the ground staff for their efforts. I hope the pitch doesn't get criticised too badly. It was an interesting sporting pitch, but better that than 400, 500, 500, 400, which has happened many times in the past. So yeah, it was good to see Sussex enjoying their cricket, and disappointed that Northamptonshire weren't able to take that opportunity created by bowling out the table toppers for 143, but that's why they're top of the table.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your company. Thank you to everybody who's joined us through the live stream, those supporters of Sussex and those of Northamptonshire as well. It's been a pleasure. Congratulations to Sussex. And as I say, we'll see you Friday night for the Blast game here at Wantage Road against Lancashire.